was contemplated that by so doing, the dual objectives could be obtained: one, improving the relations with America, and two, Soviet assistance to Chiang Kai-shek could be curtailed, thereby expediting the settlement of the China incident. 21. And its policy of conquest, which evidently indicated non-confidence in the foreign minister. This statement gave rise to doubts among the Japanese as to whether it did not constitute an intervention in domestic politics. For reasons stated above, the negotiations between Japan and America developed into an impasse. 32. Moreover, the following four events took place about that time. 1. War broke out between Germany and the Soviet Union on 22 June. 2. The attitude of America was altered as a consequence of the Japanese advancement in the southern French Indochina, which was carried out under an agreement with the French government. 3. A tight economic embargo against Japan was effected on 25 and 26 July 1941 through the freezing of Japanese foreign assets by America, Britain, and the Netherlands. 4. The resignation en bloc of the Second Kanoya Cabinet because of the attitude of Foreign Minister Matsuoka. Following events 1 and 2 above, the attitude of America became firmer, and thereafter negotiations between the two nations revolved around the French Indochina question. The fourth event indicated that Japan desired to continue negotiations with America, even if a change in the cabinet was necessitated. The Japanese government had prepared the two plans, A and B, for its negotiations with the United States, which were to be conducted under the direction of the Foreign Ministry and according to the general outline decided upon the Imperial Conference of 5 November 1941. 98. As the government foresaw increasing difficulties, and as the situation required a prompt solution, it was decided to send Ambassador Kurusu to assist Ambassador Nomura in the negotiation, which had since August been the wishes of Mr. Nomura. Kurusu left Tokyo on the 5th of November and arrived at Washington on the 15th of the same month. In this procedure, there was no design whatsoever to camouflage Japan's intention, if any, to start war. It came purely from the wish to bring the negotiations to a successful conclusion, as was testified to by the witness Yamamoto. I was informed by the foreign minister that before Kurusu left for the United States, he had explained to Kurusu in detail on the 3rd and 4th of November the contents of the definite plan which the liaison conference had prepared and intended to present for discussion at the coming Imperial Conference. Under such tense circumstances, on November 26, 1941, the U.S. government to both Ambassadors Nomura and Kurusu made a reply to the effect that it, after carefully studying and consulting with the states concerned with Japan's proposal of November 20th, dissented from the proposal and submitted a note as a basis for further negotiations. This was what has been termed the Hull Note of 26 November. Its contents were as set forth in Exhibit 1245I. The said note contained not only further adherence to the former assertions on the part of America, but also the following unreasonable demands, which proved to be absolutely unacceptable to Japan at that time, namely, A, the unconditional withdrawal of the Japanese Army and Navy, including police force from French Indochina, as well as from all parts of China, including Manchuria. B, denial of the Manchukyo government. C, denial of the nationalistic government at Nanking. D, making the tripartite alliance a dead letter. 105. With the above decision, instructions were forwarded to the Japanese ambassador in Washington. 109. Following are some facts coming to my knowledge after the war's termination, which I did not know at the time. A, that the American authorities had succeeded in deciphering our secret code and knew our decision. The two nations concluded an alliance on equal terms. in which the first article stipulated reciprocal respect for sovereignty and territorial integrity. This is stated in Defense Document 2756, which I offer in evidence.
Admitted on the usual term.
それらの条件をもって受理します。
Defense Document 2756 will receive exhibit number 3679.
原告は文書2756号法定書3679号とします。
I shall not read that document. Thus, on 14 October 1943, the Republic of the Philippines was born as an independent nation. A constitution based on the general consent of the people was enacted, and Mr. Jose Laurel was elected president of the Republic in accordance with constitutional provisions. The Japanese government agreed on Mr. Laurel's proposal that the Philippine Republic would neither participate in war nor organize military forces. The foregoing, I think, shows definitely that Japan never had territorial ambitions in the Philippines. C. In the Meiji era, when clanship, actually an extension of the feudal age, controlled all political life, as well as the social, it might, in a sense, be called a militaristic clique. It may be said that it was in the nature of a clique, but in consequence of the ascendancy of party politics, this concentrated military group, together with the old feudal system, lost their footing in the political circle. Prosecution have such an erroneous belief in mind, the reference to a military clique is unquestionably a misuse of the term. The factor of influence at this later stage was the official military institution itself. With the aforementioned elements, the first item, namely the state of affairs at and around the times of the Manchurian incident, I had no direct concern, but I am able to state my observations as one interested in the fate of my country. The free trade system was broken down after World War I by dint of overproduction and the extreme selfish protective policy of the big powers. As if war ministers all adhered fully to the same policy, I also supported this policy rigidly in order to check the growth of factional relationships, military ability, and experience, regardless of individual relationship or favoritism. In so doing, I have portrayed the reasons and the causes leading up to the Pacific War, asserting with strong convictions from a thorough knowledge of the facts that the fruitless and devastating war that broke out on December 8, 1941, was absolutely provoked by the Allied powers to force America into the European conflict, and that it was an unavoidable war of self-defense insofar as my country was concerned. There were other reasons why European powers, with rich interests in East Asia, desired United States participation, including China, all of which I have alluded to in my testimony. But there is no doubt in my mind that our decision to make war was made only as a last resort. Did the Chief of the Army General Staff or any other person connected with the Army General Staff insist that the flyers be punished without trial?
参謀総長あるいはその他誰にしても参謀本部と関係のある職員がこれらの飛行士を裁判にかけないで処分しなければならないという主張をしたことがありますか？
そういうことは絶対にありません。
No one ever did so.
Did you ever have any opportunity to ascertain what had been reported to His Majesty on the matter by Chief of Staff of the Army, Sugiyama?
この件に関し杉山参謀総長から陛下にいかなることを上奏したかを確かめる機会がありましたか？
それは事実はいいですか？お尋ねの事実はいいですか？
May I have the date repeated?
October, wasn't it? I believe it was after the meeting, General, in early part of May 1942.
私の考えでは1942年昭和17年の5月の初旬のある会合の後だと思います。
私はその事実は知りません。ただこの法廷において聞いたことがあります。
I know of no such facts. I only heard of it before this tribunal.
しかしながら私はそれにつきましては事実無根になって承知しております。
But my understanding is that such facts are such